A philosopher who spent his youth as a slave wrote that the only true freedom is internal, and that your body, your reputation, even your life, are not yours to control. This video examines Epictetus, a man who knew pressure not as metaphor, but as the weight of literal chains, and the system he built to preserve sanity under conditions designed to break it. Two questions structure what follows. First, can freedom exist inside chains? Second, when everything external has been taken from you, what remains under your control? Epictetus was born around 50 CE in Hierapolis, Phrygia. Sold into slavery as a child, he spent his youth in Rome as property of Epictetus, a freedman and secretary to Nero. One account claims Epictetus twisted the philosopher's leg deliberately. Another suggests it was disease or existing deformity. Epictetus walked with a limp for the rest of his life. Whether the injury was cruelty or accident, the Stoic lesson remains the same. Your body is not under your control. Only your response to what happens to it is. He studied under Musonius Rufus, another Stoic philosopher. After being freed, the circumstances are unclear. Epictetus began teaching in Rome until Domitian expelled all philosophers around 93 CE. He relocated to Nicopolis in Epirus, on the western coast of Greece, and ran his school there until his death around 135 CE. He wrote nothing himself. Everything we have comes from the notes of his student, Arrian. Arrian compiled 4 books of discourses, conversational lectures, and a shorter handbook, the Enchiridion. The Enchiridion opens with the sentence that defines Epictetus's entire system. Some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion. In short, whatever is our own doing. Not within our power are body, property, reputation, office. In short, whatever is not our own doing. This is the dichotomy of control. Everything in the world falls into one of 2 categories: things you control absolutely, and things you do not control at all. The internal realm, judgments, intentions, desires, aversions, is unconditionally under your power. The external realm, your body, your wealth, other people's actions, the past, the future, is unconditionally not. Ask yourself, do you control whether your leg breaks, whether you contract disease, whether someone insults you, fires you, kills you? You do not. So why do you treat those outcomes as if they were yours? Why do you anchor your peace to things you do not own? The Stoic claim is not that external things are unimportant. The claim is that they are indifferent with respect to happiness, because happiness cannot depend on what you do not control. To desire something outside your control is to guarantee your own suffering. If you get it, you live in fear of losing it. If you do not, you live in resentment at its absence. Epictetus's solution is surgical. Remove the attachment entirely. Treat externals as you would the weather, something that happens, not something that happens to you. But if externals are indifferent, what is not? The Stoics called it Prohairesis, the faculty of choice. This is the core of the self that selects, assents, judges, and wills. Prohairesis is the only thing that is fully yours. It cannot be taken by force, corrupted by circumstance, or destroyed by death, because it is the thing doing the experiencing. Your body can be enslaved. Your prohairesis cannot. Someone can kill you. They cannot make you believe that killing is good. That judgment remains yours until your last breath. Epictetus puts it plainly. If you want to be free, do not want anything that depends on others. Otherwise, you are necessarily a slave. Consider the mechanism. You enter a situation wanting something: approval, safety, pleasure. That one creates dependency. Dependency creates vulnerability. Vulnerability invites manipulation. The one who can grant or withhold what you want owns you. Not legally, psychologically. You have made yourself a slave by desiring what they control. Epictetus's freedom is not political. It does not require changing your circumstances. It requires changing what you want from them. Now, test the system. Imagine you're about to speak in public. You want the audience to approve. That desire is outside your control. You set yourself up to suffer. The Stoic move redefines success. You do not want applause. You want to speak clearly, honestly, and with preparation. Those are actions under your control. The applause is indifferent. The same principle applies to illness. You do not control whether you recover. You control only whether you respond with courage or cowardice, acceptance or bitterness. To insults, you do not control what someone says. You control whether you assign their words significance, whether you accept their framing, whether you let their judgment become yours. To death. Epictetus teaches that death is not evil. The judgment that death is evil, that is under your control, and that is what disturbs you, not the event itself. But you resist. You think, this is inhuman. To treat my body, my loved ones, my life as indifferent. That is not wisdom, it is psychopathy. Epictetus anticipated this objection. He does not say, do not love your child. He says, remember that your child is mortal. Love them as something you will lose. The Stoic argument is that grief at loss comes from false belief. The belief that they were permanently yours. They never were. Acknowledging that up front does not erase love. It removes the betrayal you feel when reality asserts itself. You are still not convinced. You think, even if I accept this intellectually, I cannot live it. When pressure comes, I will break like anyone else. Epictetus's answer, this is why you train. The Stoics called it ascesis, repeated imaginative rehearsal of loss, pain, death. You practice losing before you lose. Every morning, Epictetus recommends, visualize the day ahead and anticipate where you will be tested. Rehearse your responses. Pressure is not the problem. Unpreparedness is. But now ask what this system costs. To be invulnerable, you must care about nothing you do not control. What kind of life is that? Epictetus lived modestly, never married until old age, adopted a child someone else had abandoned. He owned little. His school was not prestigious. He left no writings of his own hand. By his own system, none of that matters. But consider, the man who teaches detachment from externals has detached from everything that makes life vivid. The Stoic response, you confuse vividness with dependence. You can enjoy the feast without needing it. You can love without possession. The detachment is not from experience, but from attachment to outcome. But the question stands, does the Stoic sage still feel? Or has he traded suffering for numbness? Epictetus would say, the sage feels more, not less, because he is not overwhelmed by false judgments. He sees clearly, but clarity is not warmth, and warmth is what human beings want. Perhaps Stoicism is not a philosophy for living well. Perhaps it is a philosophy for surviving when living well is no longer an option. That is when its value becomes undeniable. When your body is broken, your freedom stripped, your future uncertain, then the question is not whether Stoicism is pleasant. The question is whether it works. Epictetus's answer, tested under conditions most of us will never face, was yes. The mind can remain free even when the body cannot. But freedom purchased at the cost of desire is not the freedom most people want. They want both, control over externals and peace of mind. Epictetus says you cannot have both. So the choice is yours. Live vulnerably, attached to what you do not control, and suffer when it is taken. Or detach, and live invulnerable but alone. We return to the two questions posed at the start. Can freedom exist inside chains? Epictetus answered yes, if you redefine freedom as sovereignty over the will rather than the body. When everything external has been taken, what remains? Only prohairesis, the faculty that judges, chooses, and assigns meaning. That, he said, is the only thing that cannot be taken by force. Whether that constitutes a life worth living, or merely a life that can be endured, depends on what you need from existence. Epictetus offered a system for the worst case. What he could not offer was a reason to prefer it to any other. The slave who taught emperors to be free remains, in the end, exactly what he claimed to be.